Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for allowing me to join you 5 or so minutes late. I'm pleased to be here, and I've been glad to be at KU, both at the hospital and the Cancer Center, for the bulk of the day. And we're here in significant part because Dr. Kim Rathmell, who is the director of the National Cancer Institute, is with us and is visiting the same things that I'm seeing. She understands she understands everything we were told, and I understand a part of what we were told today about cancer research at the University of Kansas. And in part, I'm here because I think what is taking place at the KU Cancer Center is amazing. We've seen how we've grown, and the original designation as a cancer center, followed by comprehensive, and the opportunity to, again, for me to see what's taking place here is important. But I'm always interested in people in Washington, D.C., my colleagues in the Senate, but people certainly within NIH, to know that the dollars that are being provided to the University of Kansas are dollars that are well spent and that are and will make a difference in people's lives. A lot about what we see and what we want to see is the research necessary for cancer to be cured, the research for cancer to be treated, and ultimately for the research that allows cancer to be eliminated from our lives. I'm always pleased to see that any place, but especially pleased to see it in Kansas. And I have a desire to make certain that Kansans and future Kansans have the ability to be educated here, receive the training here, but ultimately to pursue careers in science and research, in medicine, in our state, with the goal of making sure that they and their families have the opportunity to live, to raise a family, to earn a living in Kansas. And so we're about an agenda that tries to increase the opportunities for that to occur. One of the highlights of our visit with Dr. Rathmell was with the students, the trainees, the fellows, young researchers, and to have them tell us what's going on in their lives and to answer their questions and to promote that opportunity in our state. I would guess we were probably with about 30 of those individuals, and to a person, I would guess maybe half came from Kansas, grew up in Kansas. The other half came from lots of places across our country and around the globe. And to a person, all expressed the amazing things that they were able to do and the projects and research that they were attempting to accomplish and working on in a place that was so inviting, so hospitable, and so friendly. And all bragged about being here and expressed the willingness, the desire to stay here when they complete their research. On my way up, I'm delayed 5 minutes because I met 4 second-year medical students in the lobby, and I made each one of them, one at a time, raise their hand and repeat after me, "I promise to practice my profession in Kansas," and they all were willing to do that. One was from Overland Park, one from Hutchinson, one from Pittsburgh. Testing my memory. The other one was from Johnson County as well. So delighted to have that response. Dr. Rathmell is with us. She is a renowned researcher in her own right, and in just short order, she became the director of the National Cancer Institute. And I'm pleased that she took the time and expressed the interest in accepting my invitation to visit KU Cancer Center. I think we've had almost every, I think with the exception of one, since I've been in the Senate, we've had every NCI director here, and we've had a couple of NIH directors here, again, demonstrating the capabilities and quality of work and people here. While there's effort underway, an important effort underway, and it's hugely valuable for us to be able to continue to maintain our NCI and comprehensive designation, buildings are underway. And that's exciting too. And we saw the design and location and the plans for that. And again, I don't want to diminish the importance of that in case there's a potential donor in the room. But that is important. But it is the people here, it is the researchers and the leadership that make the difference in what's transpiring here over now a little more than a decade. So congratulations to those of you who work at the Cancer Center or work at the KU Health System. And again, Dr. Rathmel, thank you for seeing what we have. I told Dr. Rathmel that we'd have press here and they might ask us some questions, and I said, I assume you're willing to answer the questions, and she responded, it depends on what the question is. And it's a sentiment that I often express to myself but never seem to be able to abide by. We were also in Fairway, saw clinical aspects of cancer treatment and research here, and I made a note that I wanted to share, and it's probably what people know in this room, but maybe the people who will see all of us on television news. Half the men and 1/3 of women will be diagnosed with cancer, meaning that there's still work to be done. 49% of cancer, more cancer, will be diagnosed between now and 2050. And here's the one that was highlighted to us and stuck with me the most. 3 out of every 10 patients who present themselves with a cancer diagnosis, there is no answer for treatment for them. It is a reminder that while tremendous strides have been made, it is hugely important for significant strides to continue. And again, I want Kansas to be a place in which that takes place. But we also visited with cancer advocates and family members of cancer, those who've died of cancer and those who are survivors of cancer. And really what I think the KU Cancer Center is about is providing hope for everyone. Those with the diagnosis and those perhaps yet to be diagnosed, and to all of us who hope we never have that diagnosis. But what I've always thought that medical research was about is hope that things are going to improve, get better, and we're going to rid ourselves of this terribly damaging disease. We've worked to support the efforts here to build a new cancer center, and we're going to continue those efforts. The primary reason I'm here at the moment is to indicate that in an appropriation bill that passed the House, passed the Senate, was signed by the President a few months ago, we've been successful in including an appropriation for both the KU Cancer Center and for the University of Kansas Health System. And in that FY24, that fiscal year 24 bill that is now law, I'm pleased to announce that the KU Cancer Center will receive, I started to say 15 million. The word is 10. I'm sorry, I should have stuck with 15, Roy. And maybe that was 50 that was about to come out. I don't know. But $10 million additional federal resources in support of building the KU Cancer Center. And I hope there is more to come. And this is money that has already been approved, and we're working for additional resources in the next year's appropriation process. And I think we will be successful as long as the House and Senate and the White House can agree upon an appropriations process. So if the process occurs, I think we will be able to report additional news, including additional resources to continue the effort to build the KU Cancer Center. Cancer research and clinical trials are hugely important, but what often also matters to a cancer patient is the care and treatment they receive in a hospital. And we were in Cambridge Tower and met with patients and received briefings by physicians and nurses who are caring for those who are suffering from cancer. And again, so it's a team. We will not have the ability to care for and to treat cancer without hospital and hospital personnel, people, nurses, doctors, staff who care about patients. We visited with one patient who said it couldn't be better. The people here are so tremendous. And again, it's something I think that's special about Kansas that I'm very proud of. People care about each other. And so we're also in an effort to continue bolstering the KU Health System's ability to improve and expand quality care. I've also secured a $10 million federal resource for the purchase of new cardiovascular equipment for the health care system. Thank you. when those two lines receive applause, it always reminds me to say it's not my money. And I do believe that the federal government spends too much money, and we need to prioritize. But I'm also of the belief that I have the responsibility, if there's an opportunity to make certain that after we decide how much money is going to be spent, if we can make sure it's spent on good things that make a difference in people's lives, and if we can make sure it's spent in Kansas, I'm all for that. So these two opportunities, I think and hope, will change people's lives and make health care in Kansas even more available and even of higher quality, and support the people, the men and women who work every day to take care of patients and to treat those with cancer. The new cardiac labs will provide an opportunity for some really unique care for patients at the University of Kansas Health System. So I think I'm just supposed to turn the mic over. I noticed the other day that I concluded my remarks more than once, and I decided a United States Senator can say, in conclusion, about 4 times before the audience is in an uproar. And I'll avoid doing that because my next task is to simply turn over the microphone to Dr. Roy Jensen, to Bob Page, and Tammy Peterman, and to Chancellor Girod. And again, I want to thank Dr. Rathmel for coming to Kansas. She's from Iowa originally, and Nebraska. She's in many ways, you could call us one of us. But she's had is having an amazing career in fighting the battle that everyone in this room really cares about. And so, Dr. Rathmel, thank you for being here, but thank you for your dedication to a cause that's hugely important to the people in this room, to people in my state, but to people around the world. We're going to win this battle, and everybody can have hope that it's going to happen. So thank you very much. And I now turn the microphone over to Dr. Jensen.
Well, first, I want to take a moment to express our profound gratitude to Senator Moran. Your steadfast support of sustainable, predictable, ongoing funding for NIH and NCI is absolutely critical to everything we do around here. It is the lifeblood of the University of Kansas Cancer Center. There's no question about that. And through this funding, I think we have an extraordinary opportunity. I've been at this business now for 40 years plus, and I've never been more hopeful in terms of making progress against this disease. But that progress needs fuel, and that's the NIH budget and the NCI budget. So with that funding, critical strides can be made in this fight, bringing hope to patients and their families, and making critical advances not only in basic sciences, but in the application of those discoveries for the benefit of our patients. And I just want to thank you for your passion and your unwavering commitment to us, even back when you were a House member. You know, I don't know if you can even remember those days or not, but it was critical. KU Cancer Center's cutting-edge cancer care facility, which we're going to utilize these funds to build, will stand as a beacon of hope and a global destination for those fighting cancer. And within those walls, we envision fostering strong collaborations between scientists and clinicians, leading to groundbreaking discoveries and transformative care outcomes. For the people in this region, this new facility means greater access to leading-edge treatments, including clinical trials, and the expertise of the brightest minds in cancer research. This building will be situated next to the Cambridge Tower A and to the Hemingway Research Building, and thereby stand at the nexus and serve as a catalyst for the continued growth and strengthening of our center. I also would be remiss if I did not thank and give a special thanks to Dr. Cameron Rathmel director of the National Cancer Institute. She told us today that we are the first cancer center that she has visited in her new capacity. And it has truly been a pleasure showcasing our center to you. And we look forward to continuing to work with you and your staff and all the folks at the NCI to advance and make progress against this disease. So once again, thank you, Senator Moran. Your dedication and support is never in doubt. And we're making, through that support, we're making incredible strides against this disease and hopefully bringing a beacon to help countless lives. So thank you very much, and I will now turn things over to the president of the University of Kansas Health System, Tammy Peterman.
Hi, everyone. What a great day. I will tell you, this has just been a really wonderful day for our health system and our cancer center. And thank you, Dr. Jensen, for those great words. And, you know, our team has really had this amazing time showing off what we do here. You know, we have this great cancer center, we have a great health system, and we got to show the NCI director, and we had the Senator Moran with us as well. So it's been a really, really great day. I had the opportunity to spend the last couple hours with them, and I will tell you, it makes you really proud to see what happens at our place, our global place, every single day. I think great things happen here. Great things happen because we have unbelievable researchers. We have great care providers. And we just have a great team that makes it all happen. And we heard that as we talked to patients today. That was pretty fun because they could put it all together. We had to prompt them a little bit to say, now remember, here's how it works together. And they go, yeah, it's just a seamless team here. So we're grateful. We're also grateful, Senator Moran, for you and your team for all the support you've given us, of course, in cancer, but also in so many other ways in our health system. We know that the funds that you just now spoke about are really, really important to us. We're going to be able to expand our cardiac cath labs with advanced technology and imaging. We'll be able to take care of even more patients. We're taking care of patients from all over right now. We'll be able to take care of even more patients as we continue to expand our cardiac cath labs. And I think this announcement comes at like this perfect time because you all know that U.S. News & World Report top hospital rankings just came out very recently as well. And both our oncology and our cardiovascular programs are listed in the top 50 in the country, according to U.S. News & World Report. Isn't that great? So I just thought it was kind of a fun time. We have world-class programs, and I know it's not just the program. It's all about the people, and it's about that group of people working together every single day. We saw it when we were touring today, but I see it every day. And I know that you all see it every single day. Our teams work together because at the end of the day, this is all about making sure we're doing the very best thing for patients and for their families. At our health system, we take care of patients, you all know this, from every county in Kansas, almost every county in Missouri, every state in the country, and over 25 international locations. That's pretty remarkable. With the support of the funds that you just spoke about, we'll be able to continue to expand that reach because you know what? I know that when people get here, they receive the very best care from the team that's providing that care to them. I also know that we will continue to work at reaching our goal and our vision of leading the nation in caring, healing, teaching, and discovering. That's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to turn over now to Bob Page, President and CEO of our health system.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thanks, Tammy. And you know, Tammy and I had a contest to see who had the shortest comments. So get your clocks out and see who can speak the fastest here. I would also like to thank Senator Moran for being here and Director Rathmel for spending last night with us at dinner and then all day today. I mean, I can't imagine how busy your calendars are, and we're grateful that you're here today with us. So, Senator Moran, I want to thank you both personally and professionally for the announcement you just made. So, personally, my family has a history of heart disease. In fact, my mom suffered from heart disease, and when she lived in Tennessee and she lived in Kentucky, I would always bring her here for her care. And I will tell you, with the team here, that our cardiovascular team is second to none. She received world-class care. And I'll also say, as a cancer survivor, I am living proof that you do not have to leave Kansas City to get world-class care. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with an aggressive prostate cancer. And so I was able to have this amazingly talented team take care of me here. And now, 4 years later, I am standing before you cancer-free. And I did not have to leave Kansas City for that care. Professionally, your support has allowed us to continue our journey to be the best in the country. And as we look forward, we believe we are going to be the nation's leader in cancer care, in brain health, in cardiovascular care, and in precision medicine. And because of the support of you and partnerships that we have, like with organizations like the NCI, you are helping to propel us along the way on that journey. So in closing, thank you for believing in our vision, believing in us, and all of your support throughout the years. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my very good friend, welcome him back to Kansas City. Doug's been out of town for a while, but he is the Chancellor of the University of Kansas. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Doug Girod.
I hate batting cleanup. It's a tough lineup. Really, I'm just here to add my thanks again to Senator Moran for obviously the announcement today, but your dedication to this initiative, which has been the university's number one priority really for over 20 years. So you've been there every step of the way, as Roy said. What you may not know is I get the pleasure to see him probably almost every month. That is how often he's back. That's how often he's at one of our campuses or one of our affiliate agencies in support of what we're trying to accomplish. And whether it's cancers you're hearing about today, or national security, or support of our KU Innovation Park, or just endless support that we've seen through the Senator's office year after year after year, and we're very grateful for his leadership. And that could be said actually at every other university in the state of Kansas as well, so I know you don't play favorites, even though you're in love. But Director Rathmel, thank you so much for being here. You may not know whether she's starting your 7th month or finishing your 7th month. It kind of doesn't matter. It's pretty short tenure already, and I know it's drinking from a fire hose when you take over an agency the size of the NCI. I can't imagine, actually. But an incredibly talented researcher, a leader at Vanderbilt University before stepping into this role, has achieved certainly all the accolades you possibly could as a scientific mind in our country. But we're fortunate to have you at the helm and taking on this fight for us, and we appreciate your partnership and really appreciate the fact that this is the first site that you've decided to come visit in your tenure, and we hope it won't be the last. We hope we'll have you here again. So really, this project that we're talking about, this facility that we're undertaking, is one of the biggest projects we've undertaken as a university in history, actually, and it's incredibly ambitious. It's really exciting. It's going to be a game changer for a generation to come, both from a research perspective, but also from a patient care perspective. And it's bringing those two things together under one vision that's really going to move the needle for us and for our region and our community. And we can't thank most of the people in this room have something to do at the Cancer Center. Raise your hand. So you all know what I'm talking about. Thank you for what you do each and every day, but this will make our jobs that much easier, that much more exciting, quite honestly, as we bring a lot of new technology online and a lot of new partnerships online. And under Roy's leadership, I know that we will really create something really special in this country, but here at the university. So thank you all for participating today and helping the director see what's happening here at the University of Kansas. Senator, thank you once again for your support. And for those in the back of the room, we will have a session to take some questions. This is being live streamed, so there may be some online questions as well. Is that correct, Kate?
Yes, that's correct. We will now take questions from the back of the room. Senator Moran's schedule has changed. He's not going to be able to take questions afterward. So if you have a question for the senator, you need to ask it now. We will be taking questions as well for Dr. Jensen, Dr. Girod, and health system folks as well, I assume. So if you have a question now, please ask it. If you don't have a question right now, we have questions online. If you have a question, wave your hand, and I'll be over there with the mic. Jessica, do you want to start
from
with
the media
questions online?
or press? Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jessica Lovell. I work with the health system. Hi, Senator. So I just want to remind any media that is watching us virtually, just go ahead and send in your questions, and we're monitoring those, so we'll get to those in a bit. In the meantime, I have a couple of questions. Senator Moran, you introduced legislation this week, the Transportation Assistance for Olympic and World Cup Cities Act. Thank you for making that so simple for me. Okay, so that is going to bolster infrastructure in Kansas City ahead of the 2026 World Cup. So could you talk a little bit about how that legislation would work?
Thank you very much. I co-chair with Senator Klobuchar a caucus within the Senate made up of members of the United States Senate who are working on travel and tourism to promote our country, to make it more readily available and meet the challenges of people who want to come from other places to visit the United States. It's a huge economic driver, and it's also useful to our national security and our relations with other nations. This is a particularly designated piece of legislation designed to enhance that opportunity, because we will have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of visitors coming to the United States for the Olympics in Los Angeles, and that number of individuals, and maybe even larger, coming to the United States to watch FIFA and the international soccer competition. And we're very proud of Kansas City and the region that's been selected to host those teams. And this legislation is designed to have the Department of Transportation, the Department of Homeland Security, a wide array of federal agencies to work together to make sure that our country is better prepared for an influx of people. It can be matters related to security, and it can be, for example, matters related to the ability to get a visa to come to the United States to see those soccer matches. And we'd be really remiss if we didn't make sure that security and a visa come together in a way that allow people who are who belong in our country, to be visitors in our country, to be able to come here and allow us to take the opportunity to showcase Kansas City and allow us to make certain that the benefits that come from their economically from their presence here are advantages to all of us.
Jessica, we have a question in the back.
Senator Moran, my name's Tim Carpenter. I work for the Kansas Reflector in the State House in Topeka. So you spoke, sort of hinted at the fact that the appropriations process in Washington is dysfunctional, perhaps broken. I wanted you to broaden your thought here and think about research funding across the board, not just medical research. And do you think there's enough money in the pot to compete, the United States to compete with other countries in important areas?
We face many challenges economically and in our national security, and we face those challenges from nations around the globe. I've become a member of the Senate Committee on Intelligence, which maybe sounds odd. I don't want to say that this way to you, Tim. You'll write it. I'm a member of the Senate Committee on Intelligence, and I now get to see 2 days a week for several hours a day the national security threats that our country faces, and they are tremendous, and they are mounting. And they are occurring in part because of the alignment of other countries, China, Iran, Russia, the entities that are associated with Iran in the Middle East. Those are not isolated instances, and they're not unrelated one to another. And so we face challenges that are really important for us to be able to meet, and it's one of the reasons economically and for our national security that we ought to be investing more in research and technology. We are a supporter of the CHIPS and Science Act, which brought a designation to Kansas City as a tech hub in technology. Excuse me for stuttering. Who brought the technology tech hubs to Kansas City? Those are things that are designed to help us compete in science and research and mathematics and chips. And we're working hard to make certain that those things are adequately funded. I think Tim's question was more direct than my answer has been, and the answer is it takes more resources than we're able to contribute now. I'm an appropriator for NASA, for example. we're trying to make certain that NASA has the resources to make sure that we return in the Artemis program to the moon. And that's certainly important from the technology and science that's generated from that. But we also know that China is right behind us, or perhaps right ahead of us, in the efforts to go to the moon. And there's a lot at stake, and I prefer to see that the United States has the success that we're looking for in areas that take scientists and folks who are knowledgeable in technology, who are researchers. This effort to cure cancer, to combat cancer, is a hugely important issue, but the need for research and technology advancements by the United States is hugely important for the well-being of our country and its citizens.
I have a question for Dr. Jensen. So as cancer cases rise, as we're seeing more and more in younger people, what does this mean for the future of cancer research and the need for more investment federally?
Well, as I alluded to earlier, I think that one of the things that I find most exciting is that in large part we're no longer groping in the dark in terms of what direction our research should be focused in. Cancer and a lot of other biomedical research is becoming a little bit more like engineering, where we understand the problems that we face, and there's tough problems, but that we have the tools available to us to solve these problems if we are willing to commit the resources to make it happen. We're no longer, fumbling and stumbling around trying to figure out which direction the research should go, and I realize that's not true all the way across the board, but in many cases we understand exactly for specific types of cancer what is driving that malignant process, and can make some pretty good educated guesses in terms of what precision therapies directed towards those types of cancers might look like. But we don't have the resources to pursue it. So that's a whole new ballgame, and is frankly the reason why myself and my colleagues have been so passionate about pursuing additional funding for NIH and the NCI.
Jacob Sloan with Fox 4, asking specifically about the capabilities available at the new Cancer Center. You mentioned that the resources might not be available to you yet. Can you kind of speak as to whether it's research or equipment, what Kansans can expect from a new Cancer Center and new technologies?
Sure. So the process that we have initiated is to really envision what our Cancer Center is going to be for the bulk of the 21st century. I would characterize the building that we're constructing now as phase one of that process. Over the course of the next few decades, we're going to be endeavoring to bring everybody together. That includes basic scientists, clinicians, population health researchers, and putting them in an environment which will foster collaboration. And study after study has shown that that's multidisciplinary teams that are committed to finding solutions are one of the best ways to actually make progress, and that's what we're going to try to create with this building. Initially, we are going to be prioritizing our efforts towards the development of cellular therapy, and specifically CAR T therapy, because I think that is going to have a revolutionary impact upon this disease, and is our greatest opportunity over the next 5 to 10 years.
Thank you, Dr. Jensen. That concludes our media questions for now. Thank you so much, all of you, for attending.